Hey guys, we're here today at Sandy Run Ranch in Chesterfield County.
And I've got my reins low, and for once my hands are going to be quiet, but my mouth's going to be moving. We're going to talk about the Gypsy Vanner horses.
So stay tuned for more horse tales.
Horse Tales is being brought to you by these fine sponsors. Mickey Finn's, your one-stop shop for all your beer, wine, and liquors with 2 locations to serve you in Florence. By Young Saddle Shop, providing the PD area with saddle repair and all your horse's tack needs. By Moss Welding and Iron Works, a family-owned business providing 50 years of quality work and customer satisfaction. By Ashley Jones Farrier Service, for all your corrective trimming and shoeing needs for your horse, contact Ashley Jones, a BWFA certified farrier. By Gardner's Feed and Farm Supply, serving the PD area since 1955 for all your farm and seed needs. And by Pieces, for you and your home, located in Florence at 1228 Celebration Boulevard. Call them for all of your homing and fashion needs.
Well, folks, we're here today with Phil Hudson from Newton Grove, North Carolina. Well, Phil, what brings you way up here in Chesterfield County?
Oh, the bright sunshine, South Carolina, and Gypsy Vanner horses and Billy Pritchard.
All right, well, what made you choose Billy Pritchard?
Well, I had some friends who highly recommended Billy and his sons to break horses for driving and riding. Not only for the driving, but also the riding, so got both at one place.
And what do you do for your main living?
I'm a dirt farmer, a poor dirt farmer. Grow tobacco and sweet potatoes are the main cash crops we have, but we also rotate with cotton, corn, wheat, soybeans, and we grow a lot of vegetable crops, watermelons, cabbage, sweet corn, and we have some beef cattle operation. We have 1,300 brood cows.
All right, what breed of beef cattle?
Angus, mostly Angus. The brood cows are just commercial Angus cows. Most of our 60 breeding bulls are registered Angus. We have a few that are semi-Angus and a few balancer bulls. Got a couple red Angus bulls.
Well, tell me what got you interested in this very rare breed of horses, the Gypsy Vanner?
I have some friends up in Ohio, some Amish friends in Ohio, and been trading horses with them for the last 3 years, or not necessarily trading horses, but they've been consulting with me and helping me pick out a few horses to buy so that we work. I belong to the North Carolina Workhorse Association and enjoy picking up draft horses and going to plow days around in the community and working with the horses. And over the last 2 or 3 years, just happened to run across the Gypsy Vanners on the computer, on the internet, and got interested in them.
All right, Phil, let's walk over here and check out this little Varner filly's name is Aphrodite, right?
Yep, that's her name, Aphrodite.
Well, I think I was reading up on them, and Gypsy Vanner is short for caravan, is that right?
Yeah, it's the gypsies back in Scotland and Ireland and Great Britain. They had their colorful wagons and their families traveling around across the country, and their 3 main loves were horses and music and their children, and they wanted a colorful horse to pull their wagons. So they, to pull those big heavy wagons that they had all their belongings in, they needed a horse that was strong enough. They needed a draft breed horse, but at the same time they wanted one very docile and safe with the children, so the children could crawl around under them and all over their back, and the horses never tried to hurt any of their children or anything. It's safe. So they came up with the colorful Gypsy Vanner horses.
Right. And they come in different colors?
They have a piebald and a skewed color, and they can basically be any color, but the majority of the Gypsy Vanners are black and white or light brown color.
Right. And what's the average size of a Vanner?
I would say most of the Vanners are from 13.2 hands up to 15.2 hands. I have a Gypsy Vanner stallion that's 15.3, but he's about as tall as stallion as I've seen. Right. But most of these fillies are around 15, 15.2.
Well, you tell me this is not the first Vanner you had up here with Billy, is it?
No, sir. I think a year ago I brought one mare up here, and she's at home. Her name is Hannah, and Billy trained her to ride and drive, and we got her back home, and my sister is 53 or 4 years old, and she just fell in love with her. My granddaughters and my niece and all of them, and they just liked the way she was handled, and she was very gentle, and you know, not a horn bone in her. She just no fight in her. She just any old way. And they so they knew I had 4 or 5 more, so they told me to bring them down here and get them all trained. They want to get them all trained where they can ride, and then when they go to mule days and the local plow days, they want to saddle all of them up and get on them and ride them. They're very beautiful horses when they're cleaned up and brushed out.
I'm here with my new friend, this beautiful Gypsy Vanner horse, and that brings us to your tack tip of the day.
Hello, I'm Julie with the Wild West in Conway, South Carolina. Today, our tack tip is on how to properly put your rope halter on your horse. You want to bring the top crown part around your horse and then take the nose piece and put it over your horse's nose. That way you're not going to lose your horse. You want to make sure the loop is up and you tie it through the loop, bring it down around towards the front and then back towards the back of the horse. You want to make sure that you tie it on this loop in case the horse is tied up and pulls real tight. Once he relaxes, then you can actually wiggle it. It will come loose. If you tie it on top, it gets real tight, and sometimes you can't get it undone. You have to cut them off. You want to make sure that the tie is towards the back. I like using a rope halter because you wind up having more control over your horse, and I trail ride with it, and if you break your bridle, you have your rope halter, so you can still have control of your horse and you can lead him. Call us at 843-347-9378, and our website is wildwestmyrtlebeach.com.
Hey, my name is Maureen Scott. I watch Horse Sale every Sunday, so stay tuned for more action.
Joining me now is Mr. Billy Pritchard. And Mr. Billy, you've been training these beautiful Gypsy Vanners, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am.
So what exactly goes into training them?
Well, we started out, Phil Hudson had brought them down and wanted me to break them up to pull a wagon. And they really did good, responded well, really gentle horses. So then he called back and wanted me to break them to ride. So now we have all 6 of them riding and driving.
And they have some beautiful characteristics, like the feathering on their legs, and then they also have a little mustache. So what all goes into actually training them?
Well, you know, basically it's like any other horse. You start out, you know, saddling and harnessing, and you know, if they're gentle, you can move along faster. That's why we got a lot done with them in 2 months. It's first off, you get the harness fitted for them. You have collars and then you harness. Everything has to be adjusted. Start out, you pull a drag, and you progress them up to pulling a wagon, and they just really went along really well, and we got a lot done with them.
All right, well, let's get them ready to go pull the wagon.
All right, we'll start out with a collar. When you're putting harness on, main thing is make sure it fits. When you put a collar on, you want to have 4 fingers, room for 4 fingers at the bottom of the collar.
Okay.
And then you know it fits.
Okay.
So collar on, then we'll do the harness.
All right. And so that's the same with any horse, right?
With any
horse in the
horse.
same way. So what's the next step?
We put the harness on. The metal part is where most of your work comes from. This leather strap will do the pulling of the wagon, so we have to make sure this is adjusted right.
And so how do you know if it's adjusted right?
Well, it's all pre-adjusted. You just want to know everything fits tight, fits snug. This is called a saddle or back band. This is called britching. The britching is what holds the wagon back to keep it from running over the horse if you go downhill. So you want to get everything lined up, everything straight. This is called a crupper. It goes under the tail, and this keeps the harness lined up to keep it from sliding to the left or to the right and falling off. It holds everything straight.
And so when you're steering these horses, I know there's a term that when you steer them to the right and to the left. What was it?
G to the right, ha to the left.
And how do you remember that?
Well, I had trouble remembering when I first started, so I had to figure a way, and a lady told me one time, she said, always remember, G, honey, you're right when you're talking to your wife, so G to the right.
That's right.
I never forgot it since then. You have a girth that comes under here, and the difference in this and a saddle is this strap is not tight. This is just strictly to hold your harness straight.
Okay. So what does the bridle do?
This is where you hook your reins. This is for your steering, basically.
Okay. And so today we're just gonna tack up 2 of these horses, is that right?
Yes, ma'am, we're gonna tack them up and go for a ride.
All right. And so you've been training these horses for about 2 months, so do you think they're ready to go?
I'm sure they are. They're very nice, very easy to drive.
And what is this piece right here called?
This piece is called a blinder. It actually is to keep them from seeing what goes on behind him.
Okay.
They don't need to know a lot about what's going on behind them. Any horse, actually, horses or mules, should be looking ahead, not paying attention to what's behind them.
And why is that?
Well,
just because?
Well, you know, sometimes the noise of the wagon or the side of the wagon, especially like a covered wagon or a wagon with a top on it, if they could see it, would make them nervous. But if they don't know what's back there, they'll be much quieter.
Right. Okay.
All right, that's completely harnessed. We'll have to harness one more, and then we'll hook them to the wagon. Once we get the complete set of harness on both horses, we hook to this. This is called a breast tree. This hooks to this strap here, and this is instrumental in guiding the wagon and also keeping the wagon from rolling forward going down a hill. So we'll hook up the traces, we'll get in the wagon, we'll take a ride.
All right. Well, what if the horses don't just go in that position? How do you get them to get right there in front of the wagon?
They're pretty much trained to move over and move up and move back wherever they need to be. The younger they are, they won't know it as well, but after years of driving and riding, they'll just go get in the right place almost.
All right.
Makes it real easy for you.
Yeah. So what are you doing right now?
This is inside trace. We're going to hook this chain to this single tree, and this is what pulls your wagon.
Okay.
Always hook the inside one first, so you don't have get tangled up. You're outside when you hook your last one.
So that wouldn't be good?
Wouldn't be good to get in there if they went to moving around a lot. So everything's ready now. If you want to step up here, I'll get on the other side and we'll take a ride.
All right. Let's see if I can figure out how to drive this team. So is there a weight limit on what these horses can pull?
They're real strong. This little wagon here would be really light on them.
So they can do, you know, a bigger wagon than this, or even a smaller one?
Yeah, this is the right size wagon for them.
Okay.
Are you unhooked, Jackie? All right. Here we go. Back up, girl. Back up, girls. Back up. G around. G around. We'll take them down the road, and I'll let you drive and see how you like it.
All right. I hope I can do it.
You can do it.
I remember last time you said step up girls, so do you not say that for these horses?
Broke horses will answer the commands better than these horses. Just horse been drove a couple of months. You got to kind of tap them with the lines, make them move up a little, more so than voice commands.
Gotcha.
The more you drive horses, the more they get voice command broke. They know G and ha, whoa. These horses here, you have to do a little more driving, a little more hands on the reins type of driving. My draft horses that I've drove for so long, I can almost drive them without the reins.
Yeah. All right, so you let me drive?
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, one in each hand. Kind of hold a firm grip.
Okay.
And it's basically, if you want to move a little to the right, you just pull a little to the right and loosen with your left.
Okay.
And if you want to go left, you just loosen with the right. Pull a little bit to the left.
All right.
And even though they don't really know what you're talking about now, I still tell them to G around, haul around. Okay. And after enough of that, after saying enough of that, they'll understand what you mean.
Yeah.
And also, when you pull back, I always tell them whoa. That way, if you're using them at some point in time, you could say whoa and they'd stop without even pulling back on them. They would know.
Huh, okay. All right, ladies, you see I can do this, then you guys can do it. We're here, you know, in Chesterfield County, this beautiful day. I'd much rather be doing this than anything today. We're having so much fun.
Good job.
Folks, one of the special characteristics of these Gypsy Vanner horses is their mustache. Not as quite as groomed as the PD Cowboys, but almost. And that brings us to the vet tip of the day.
Hey there, my name's Adam Eichelberger, and I'm a veterinarian with the South Carolina State Veterinarian's Office in Clemson University. And today we're going to start off with a little bit of horsetails right here on the other end of the horse. So as a horse owner, one of the things you should know how to do is check a temperature. And how do you check a horse's temperature? You take a thermometer and stick it in its rectum, and then therefore you actually read the thermometer just like you would with an oral thermometer for people. So first question is, how do you tell the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal thermometer? Anybody? So the way it tastes, right? But anyway, so back to taking a horse's temperature. So this is easy to do. One thing, it can be dangerous though, so you always need to be safe and know you can trust the horse you're checking. So I actually have lubrication here already, just some kind of lubricant, and I do have a glass thermometer. You can use a digital thermometer, just any kind of thermometer. And I actually will come up, you notice where I'm standing. I stand to a safe place. The horse, I'm close enough that the horse is not going to hurt me. I have a handler up on the front end of the horse, so watching the horse up there. Never do this alone. Even if you trust the horse, you can get kicked. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to grab the horse's tail, and I'm going to actually go over and I'm going to take the lubricated thermometer and stick it in. So therefore, I'm going to hold it here. With a digital thermometer, typically they'll ding. But this one, you typically wait 30 seconds. And for demonstration purposes today, I'm not going to sit here for the whole time, but typically once you're ready, you'll pull out the thermometer, be able to know what the horse's temperature is and what should it be. Typically between 99 and 105 degrees Fahrenheit. If you have a horse that's hotter than that, it may have a fever. Maybe one of the things you want to tell your veterinarian if you're calling them. So anyway, this is the proper way to take a horse's temperature per rectum. And remember to keep safety in mind. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at the State Veterinarian's Office.
Joining me now is Jut, and I hear you have a good horse tale for me.
I do. I went hog hunting with your father the other day, the PD Cowboy, and we was on our way back out, and the dogs bait a goose, and I reached down and grabbed the goose, put it on my saddle with me. It's never a good idea. The goose went to flopping and hollering, and my horse ran away, and I threw the goose over the shoulder. So that is the tip for the day: is don't pick a goose up while hog hunting.
Blair had a great time today. Had two firsts: the first time learning about a Gypsy Vanner and the first time riding a Gypsy Vanner.
Well, I got to drive a pair of Gypsy Vanners, and it was so much fun. I'm getting pretty good at it. And girls, you know, you can see that I can do that, so you can too.
Well, folks, this is one of our objectives at Horse Tales, to bring you informative and entertaining shows. It's been a great privilege today that we found out that Billy Pritchard had 6 Gypsy Vanners up here. And by the numbers, there's less than 2,000 in the United States, so having them here together and spending all this time is a rare treat.
Yep, it's a big deal. And guys, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, and we're now on Twitter. And if you have any ideas for any shows or any horse tales, please go to our website, horsetalestv.com.
Until next week, keep your reins low and your hands quiet.
See you next week.